Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm discussing what I've learned in Unit 1 of World Cultures. So, first we tried to understand what culture really was, and I would like to reference Tactile Parsons' definition of culture, which is culture consists in those patterns relative to behavior and products of human action which have been inherited, that is, passed on for generation to generation, independent of biological genes. So, it's not how you are biologically, but it's how you've kind of came to be throughout inherited beliefs. Like indigenous cultures, they have their history and their origins passed down orally. And I'll use a personal example with me, as my nana is a pagan and was a pagan and Wiccan, and she always used to talk about spiritual aspects of life and how we taught me about it, and I've always come to just believe in it because it's what I've been taught, and it's been passed down through my nana to my mom to me, and it's always freely talked about in my house, and it's just something that is okay to believe, and so I've always believed in it. And so culture really is experiences and beliefs and values of a person, and the behavioral, material, and mental are categories in which these attributes can fit under. And so if you're raised by females, you're going to act differently if you're raised by males as behavioral aspect. And if you follow Christian values, you're going to have a different perspective on things if you compared to a atheist perspective. And so the main function for culture, like for a group versus an individual, for a group is really sharing those same beliefs and finding that sense of belonging. And for an individual, it's like finding who you are and seeing those values and beliefs within the culture. And also for culture, there are different elements of it. So there are, say, norms, there are different values, there are social roles. So social roles of indigenous female and a male are going to be different compared to a female and male from Muslim culture. And I would also like to express that there are different subcultures as well. So, a African American, yes, they're American, but they're also from African, say, origin or background. So that creates kind of a subculture there. But the thing is, with culture comes stereotypes, because people judge each other for being different. If you have a different belief or value or culture you follow or religion, they call you different, and because you're different, apparently that makes you bad, creating those stereotypes because people, the voices aren't really heard behind it. So first, I would like to say you've heard Discovery of America. You've heard of Christopher Columbus coming to new land and conquering it, and with the indigenous people there, and we hear that perspective of it, but we don't really hear the indigenous perspective of what actually happened. And it's because history is written by the winners, and because of the power and their influence, they are heard more than the indigenous people. And that seems to be a repeating thing throughout history, as we always hear one perspective of things and we don't really think of the other. Like there's say a view, or like within the media, like with Trump, we see him as like really really bad, and like he's doing all these bad things against women and all such, but we only kind of see that one view because it's what we focus on. While there could be some good things to what Trump is actually bringing to America, which we don't like see as much because it's snuffed out in the media. And it's kind of that going back to that influence and that power and that privilege that people hold over other people and make their voices not heard. Um, I would also like to go off on perspectives. So there are like perspectives in which people view things as well. And so there are 5 different theories for perspectives. So there's the structural functionalist perspective, cultural perspective, symbolic interactionist perspective, cultural materialist perspective, and feminist perspective. So if I were to say, give a feminist perspective the topic of marriage and specifically the social roles within it, they're going to maybe go off of the stereotypical view of highlight stereotypical view of the man goes to work and the woman takes care of the house and the children, and argue that it should be equal work between both men and women within the relationship, as the woman can also handle work and the household duties and the children. It's a lot, and there should be equal shared work and a balance there. And while using the same topic, the same subject, given to a structureless, symbolic and interactionist perspective, they may view marriage as like a rite of passage, because we're always kind of told growing up, well, I know I was, I'm going to get married and I'm going to find a nice husband, I'm going to have lots of kids, and that is a rite of passage we've kind of put on Western society. Well, that's not always the case, as 50% of divorces in America alone is where divorces are. But so that kind of highlights that marriage may be a rite of passage, but it's not always the best thing. And these honestly are just a few things I've learned in this unit. It has been so much information, so much stuff about learning. I've also learned about my own privilege, that yes, I'm white, but I'm also a female, and I do have the gender stereotype put on me, but I do have a lot more privilege than a lot of other people within society. And so I can use my privilege and my influence in order to help people who don't have that, and understand their perspective and their side of things, and go off from there. So yeah, I've learned a lot, and these are just a little, the littles, not the littles, but a few things I've learned within this unit. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good day.